Hey there, it's Christy. I'm coming at you from Costa Rica on my work exchange program. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about how this came about for me and also talk about some principles of manifestation, which I think I'm going to break out into separate chunks videos. But basically, this opportunity kind of came up out of nowhere. I kind of set an intention for this year that I wanted to spend at least a month outside of the US. And I didn't know how I would make that happen. I just kind of set it and waited for something to come in. I didn't do a lot of research. I had some thoughts of how it might come in, and this came in pretty serendipitously, and it felt really aligned. And I pulled the trigger, booked a flight like less than a week in advance, and here I've been. And this is kind of the magic of manifesting in a female body is that it can be just that easy. Sometimes we think we need to do a lot to make things happen. Make a list, make a plan, do the steps of the plan, implement the plan. And that's just a really masculine way of working. It's very like rigid, structured, and forced. It's like forcing the body to do the steps. In reality, one of the most important um, exercises to allow easeful manifestation is through the process of shedding. And I went through a pretty massive shed earlier this year when I left a 15-year career back in March. And it was not, in some ways, it was easy because it was very clear to me that that was the step I needed to take. And I was able to do it in a really beautiful, graceful, and joyful way. But it was hard for my body to acclimate to it afterward. I was sick for about a month and a half, and my body was forcing me to rest to feel the release of all the energy that I was holding, all the armor, of being in that career and needing to shed it in order to be able to create my next step from a different energy, not plant new seeds in old soil. And so that process of shedding is so important because it's like making room for what's next. It's kind of like if your house is filled with stuff, there's no room to bring anything new in, so you need to get rid of what's old in order to even make space for new things to come in. And I would not have had this opportunity if I had not carved out the space for it to come in, for myself to see it, for it to be possible. And this is a pretty big, for me, I've been working energy and doing this work for about 5 years. So, I take big steps for this. You might not be in a place of like quitting your job and waiting for what's next. That's a pretty big step to take, but it started so small for me. It started with just looking at my calendar, feeling that my body needed a day off to rest, feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and like taking half a day, taking a half a day off work, canceling some meetings, and being like, I'm going to take half a day to rest. So we start in really small ways of honoring what we're able to do, um, what's filling our cup versus draining it, and making space. And it is uncomfortable for us sometimes to sit in this space. If you ever think about you've been in a waiting room of a doctor's office and you're waiting, what do you do with that time, with that space? Maybe you scroll on your phone, maybe you start a conversation with someone, maybe you're texting, replying to emails. What would you do if you just let that space and time exist and you just sat in it? That might be uncomfortable for you, but that is what the shedding is like. It's carving out that space and sitting in that discomfort and noticing what comes up and processing it. And that is an invitation to the universe, whatever you want to call it, to serve you something else of like, oh, there's space there. How about this? And that's certainly how what I feel like happened this summer. And I'll invite you to try that. Look for something in your life that is not bringing you joy, feels like a drain of your energy, doesn't feel good in the body. And it might be a workout class. It might be something that on the outside seems good. Maybe it's a task at work that you just have to do, but in reality, you could maybe delegate it to somebody else. See what happens when you subtract that and let the space be there and intend for something new to fill it, and then let it be and see what happens. Let me know what happens. See you soon.